Well, you missed out on buying Tesla stock, and now it has messed around and hit an all-time high at $1,200. Maybe you weren't part of the trading group when I said buy it back in March. Who knows? But all is not lost, my trading comrades. In this video, I'm going to show you exactly why NIO stock could be the one to make you rich and why you still have a chance at a possibly lucrative early investment. Now, of course, it goes without saying, I'm not a financial advisor. This is purely research that I did. As a matter of fact, as early as January, I was saying NIO is a good long-term investment and it might hit $10 in the long term. Well, it is damn near $10 now. But no investment is a guarantee, and the stock market is really just a way of speculating on a company's future potential. So grab some popcorn and maybe a beer if you're of drinking age, of course, and hit that thumbs up button, or else all of your portfolios will get wrecked. I guarantee it. So unless you've been hiding under a rock, you know that the EV market is swallowing up the consumer vehicle industry every day that passes. It is also now gunning for the commercial vehicle industry as well. You have companies like Nikola, by the way, very original name, Trevor, Workhorse, and Hyliion or High Lion. But here are some reasons why NIO stock could be the next lucrative investment in this industry. It could be the next millionaire maker. Obviously, that's relative according to everybody's budget, but that goes without saying. And I'm not kidding about that. This is not clickbait. So let's get into some of the fundamentals of the industry and of the company itself. Reason number one, and this could be the most obvious one, so I don't want to spend too much time here, but there's an inevitable sea change occurring in the vehicle industry. See, a couple of times a generation, inevitable changes occur that shift the entire paradigm where a new normal sets in. Whether we're talking about tube TVs to flat screens, or MP3s to streaming services, or you guessed it, gasoline cars to EVs. And when this change is recognized and noticed by the corporate world, rabid competition sets in. And that's where new companies and old companies alike scramble and duke it out for their piece of the market share. Tesla has undoubtedly led the way, and now we're seeing companies try to chase at their heels in their quest for delivering efficient and reliable EVs. The industry's changing and everybody can see what's coming. Reason number two, and this is probably just as important as reason number one. So reason number two that NIO could be an insanely lucrative investment at this price. NIO is a Chinese company. You're probably thinking, so what? I already knew that. Well, let's run down the list of companies that are literal Chinese versions of their American counterparts. Like, that's their entire business model. Creating a Chinese version of an exact US company or service and servicing it to just the Chinese population.
Jinyang, are you copying all those companies for the Chinese markets?
Oh no.
You have the Chinese Facebook, the Chinese Amazon, the Chinese Square, the Chinese WhatsApp, the Chinese Google search. Some of these are even publicly traded companies on US exchanges like NIO or Alibaba. So what's the advantage here? Well, China is the most populous country in the world. They are literally their own all-encompassing global market. Their general policy of banning foreign products and services in favor of their Chinese equivalents has proven to be a lucrative business model for Chinese companies. So that is to say, a Chinese company can survive just serving the Chinese market alone, especially if it is a ripoff of an American product or service. And NIO is completely trying to be the Chinese Tesla. Reason number three why NIO stock could be a good investment here: funding. There was a time when NIO was certainly struggling with finding funds to keep the operation running. However, it has since secured funding from the Chinese government, among other local governments within China. Being that NIO is a Chinese company, it's not beholden to the same boundaries that Western public companies are. In countries like China, Russia, the UAE, there's this gray area that companies operate under. The government supports and even sometimes runs some of these companies. They're not exactly independent, but they're not fully state-run either. Recently, NIO has secured over $1 billion from the Chinese government. Reason number four, China is by far the largest auto market in the world. I don't really need to say more about this. Reason number five why NIO could be a lucrative investment. Unbeknownst to most people, China is actually dominating the EV market. NIO is not the only Chinese EV car company. It's the one that's most known to US investors because it trades on the US stock market, and some of its cars kind of look like ripoffs of Tesla. But there are actually bigger Chinese EV car companies like BYD and Chery. If you remove Tesla from the equation, China is actually dominating worldwide EV sales. Reason number 6 why NIO could be a lucrative investment: China's commitment to alternative fuel. China is actually distancing itself from fossil fuels and is leading the world in alternative fuel research and development. As of 2016, it owned 30% of all of the world's renewable energy patents. This revolution, or this movement, will certainly have reverberations in the EV market, as the EV market is part of that all-encompassing plan. Reason number 7 that NIO could be a lucrative investment is growth potential. Now, if you look at its earnings and its balance sheet, it's not that great of a company on paper, but it's still in an infant industry. It took Tesla years to become profitable. So as I stated earlier, back in January, I sent out a trade alert for NIO, a long-term trade alert for NIO, saying that it could hit $10 in the midterm, which it's close to right now. I also said that it could hit $100 in the very long term, and that is very doable. This is what this play is all about. It's about pure potential growth. Just last week, NIO reported a 180% jump in deliveries. Goldman Sachs upgraded it to a buy, and NIO officially started deliveries of its new SUV called the ES8. From a technical standpoint, let's go to the charts and see what's going on. And by the way, if you want access to the trade alerts where I send out all of my stocks, options, and crypto trades, including NIO, link is in the description below. And if you need help learning how to trade options or trade in general, and you want to sign up for one-on-ones with me, same link is also in the description below. Spots go fast every month, so be sure to sign up on the 1st if you want to secure a spot, or just hit me up. All right, if we take a look at the technicals, you'll see that NIO, this is on the daily chart, had gapped up earlier this week, and this is likely due to a Tesla sympathy play. As a matter of fact, if we hide all of these indicators and add Tesla on here, what you'll see is that NIO actually follows Tesla's trajectory. So this in orange is Tesla's stock price, and you could see how closely married it is to Tesla's movements, especially during this, pandemic post market crash rally that we have going here. And Tesla, as you know, recently crossed the 1200 mark, which is where we see NIO gap up as well. So if we take a look at the weekly chart, really the question that we want to answer, or try to answer if even possible, is where will NIO likely see resistance, and what heights can it get to? Well, you see that it's forming this rounding bottom pattern here. This is an accumulation pattern where, after a panic sell-off, or, not really panic, this was shortly after the IPO, maybe people selling their shares or whatever, combination with negative earnings, no funding at this time, you see that traders started accumulating NIO in this range, and the volume has increased so much that it forms this rounding bottom pattern. So rounding bottom patterns are actually very bullish, especially after a downtrend. So we have this this is on the weekly again, we have this natural resistance here at around 1050. And if NIO can close above 1050 on the weekly, then we will likely see new highs. Now, I'm bullish on NIO in the long term for the reasons that I described in this video. But in the short term, NIO needs to close above 1050 on the weekly to see any sort of new price discovery, right? We want it to find and be comfortable in the $15 and $20 ranges eventually. Now, in the short term, obviously this all goes away. If we get a second wave or whatever, or another market crash or market correction, then everything, including NIO, is going to drop. And just to give you some perspective, Tesla actually IPO'd at around $19 and it is now $1,200. So, the fact that NIO started off, NIO IPO'd, I think, at around $6, doesn't mean that it's destined to stay in that range forever. Here is Tesla's IPO right here. But yeah, what we need to see NIO doing in the long run is establish these, sideways ranges. If you look at Tesla here, this is the monthly chart, look at how perfect some of these sideways ranges are. And that's how stocks or assets become comfortable in a certain range or at a certain price level through this price discovery. So if we use the fib retracement, we can potentially see what levels NIO could have above and beyond the 1050 if it closes above 1050. So you see that the 1.272 fib level is at around $13. The 1.414 is at $14.50. and then you got $16.50 and $20. And if we do drop again, I'll most likely look to be rebuying somewhere between the 0.5 fib level and 0.618. So between $6 and $7, I think is a good sweet spot here. And obviously, if you're a long-term investor, one of the other things you could do is dollar cost average, which is, you know, buying the same amount on a scheduled basis for the long term. All right, so there you have it. Those are the reasons why NIO stock could be a lucrative investment for the future, and why, if you missed out on Tesla, there could still be an opportunity here. Obviously, do your own due diligence, do your own research. This is just for research purposes, and these are just my intuitions, and this is based on my speculation. I'm not saying NIO is going to be the next Tesla, but it definitely has a chance to be one of the major players in the Chinese EV industry. And its current price to me will seem like a steal if the company's plans pan out. And even though we swing traded NIO and continue to swing trade NIO, this video is specifically focused on a long-term investment and not anything in the short term. But again, if you are interested in short-term alerts as well as long-term alerts, sign up for the link in the description to our private trading group. You also get to chat with all of the traders in the group, exchange ideas, talk about strategies, talk about plays. So sign up, link is in the description below. If you get anything out of this video, go ahead and leave it a thumbs up. Leave a comment down below. Let me know what it is you're trading. Are you in NIO? How long have you been in NIO? What do you think of the EV wars? Is it between Tesla and NIO, Workhorse, Nikola? Subscribe to the channel, hit that notification bell. Stay safe out there, traders. Peace.